Okay, so I'm going to try a slightly different way of doing these vloggy recording things right now. First thing is that it's a bit brighter in here, so I've got the lights on. Thought I'd just try it out, because it is usually pretty dark. Like I've said before, I did it deliberately because it's usually quite late at night, it's just to brighten the mood, I think, hopefully. I'm trying not to spin around on this chair too much. So yeah, into the normal formula. So today the numbers picked back up again from like the 2 weeks after grading and stuff, which is kind of as expected. So I felt pretty good and like confident today, just like randomly. Just one of those days where you just feel better than normal. I hope it sticks and progresses over time. But yeah, it felt a lot easier to just interact with everyone and to explain things confidently, which is obviously ideal. And I think I actually managed to learn properly, like to correct mistakes more, like something I know I've said quite a lot on that I want to get better at, in particular related to the kickboxing, where we have the line-outs and stuff. I wanted to get better at like telling them what they're doing wrong, correcting it, like just pointing out to them rather than just kind of letting them continue to do it wrong. Obviously that's something that I need to really get better at for their sake, and I managed to really do that today, I feel, which is obviously great. I managed to tweak a lot of stuff without any issue. I didn't feel hesitant at all to do it, I just did it. Even like, you know, sometimes you just like physically move their arm in the same way to show them what they're doing wrong or something like that, so that was really good. I think as far as where I'd like to improve next time, I'd like to sort of scale it up even more, take it up a notch, and just kind of engage with all the students more on like a more personal level. You know, just not be afraid to make jokes or silly remarks or anything like that, or just like have normal, out of informal conversations with them and stuff like that. I think that would be the next sort of level I'd want to try and aim to take it. I keep like rocking backwards and forwards on this. Right. Anyway, so as far as what else is going on outside of that, I've decided to re-listen to the audiobook version of Life Leverage. I think I may have briefly mentioned it before when I first ran through it, because yeah, I just feel like I want to go through it again and see if there's anything I've missed or anything I want to reinforce. Like, they're just really good points on how to become more focused on the things that matter to you more, how to recognise and try and drop things that are not really that important and don't really add any value to your life. So there could be things that you sort of like doing or can't help but do, you sort of habitually do them, but they don't actually benefit you in any way. I guess the best example could be something like watching TV in the evenings. You know, a lot of people habitually go into that routine of just, they come home from work and they just spend the evening watching TV and stuff. But the reality is, unless you're watching informational documentaries type stuff, you're not really getting anything out of it. It's just pure entertainment. And the same thing could be said in a more modern sense of the whole internet black hole, like YouTube or Facebook, just whittling your time there. For me, the biggest thing is like video games, and it's a really funny thing. I struggle with this quite a lot, because technically you don't get anything that much out of it. You do, in certain games, it does help you build things like coordination, reaction time, but it's interesting because I really enjoy it in ways, but at the same time I'd rather spend the time doing stuff that's more important. So I have cut down a lot, but I don't think I'm ever going to really get rid of it. I don't think I'd want to stop playing altogether. I've just done it. I've done it for too long since I was young, and I get a lot of nostalgia from replaying old stuff as well. Although, yeah, I definitely don't play as much anymore, and when I do play, it's not for as long. I kind of, not exactly get bored, but I feel like I'm wasting my time more, so I won't play for as long, and then I'll stop and I'll do something else instead. Yeah, I'm just going through it again to see if I can pick anything else up that might be useful, because I'm feeling a bit sort of overwhelmed. It's, in a way, like struggling to find time to do stuff, but recently, in the past few days, over this week, I've managed to get a lot more stuff done, which is quite good. But yeah, so I know I've said before I wanted to kind of use these videos to have some kind of topic that talk about, potentially make it into more than just a random documentary of what happens in the week. It's usually not that much. I don't think it's usually particularly interesting. Although I'm not sure. I guess the main reason I feel like I should make these a bit more beneficial to other people, other than just me documenting stuff, is because how much I've been struggling recently to make proper content videos. So I feel like I want to add more value to these vloggy type things. So what I wanted to try and discuss today, something that I've over the past month really kind of got a lot better at, and I want to summarise all the things that I think have helped me, is just regarding consistency with training. Some people may only do some kind of training like 3 times a week, and maybe you like talk yourself out of it one day in the week, so you only actually end up doing it average like 2, or maybe if it properly average like 2.5 days in the week. And like that consistency is obviously very difficult, but it's one of the best things you can really do for serious improvement. Whenever you design a program, like a training program, or someone else designs it for you, it's with that consistency in mind. It's all based on that consistency, and if you don't follow the plan exactly, if you're not super consistent with it, it's not going to give you the exact result that it's intended to give you. So as for me, like, I train in some form every day, mainly morning stuff, and I've never managed to do it every single day for a week, and I always do like stretching and stuff in the evening as well before I go to bed, and I never managed to do that every single day either, because I find ways to like talk myself out of it, or feel really tired physically, or like sleepy, so I wouldn't do it. And it wasn't like tired as in like overtrained, it was just tired as in like mentally, or just sort of feeling worn out or low energy, so there was really no excuse not to do it. So the first thing I'd say about how to be more consistent is to try and kill the options to not do it, if that makes sense. Don't give yourself the opportunity to get out of it. So an example for me was with the morning stuff, like I'd always have my alarm for 7 o'clock, but I had a one for like 7:30 as well, which I would use if I ever felt like I was really tired or like didn't want to do it the next morning. So I'd set myself up that 7:30 timer and I'd give myself a lie-in, or I would be woken up by the 7 o'clock one. I'd feel really tired, so I'd just set up the 7:30 one, and it was just like an escape thing. That when I'm in an highly emotional state, and I can't control my actions as much, because we all go through these different phases, and we have moments of like weakness where we can't really help ourselves as much, and it's about stopping them from happening in the first place. So I just got rid of that alarm. Now I only have the 7 o'clock alarm, and it's on permanently. I don't even look at it. I just set it up for every single day of the week, and even on days where I'm not actually doing anything in the morning, like it's my day off or something, and I just don't give myself the option to not get up and do it, essentially. Secondly, what I'd say is to understand the difference between motivation and discipline. Essentially, motivation is kind of based off of your emotional feelings and your level, and emotions kind of go up and down and all over the place all the time. So you'll have moments where you feel really motivational, you're like, yeah, I'm going to smash it, and then a little bit down the line you'll feel just low and you'll crash and you just won't want to do anything at all. Whereas discipline is kind of the opposite. It's where you do what you know you need to do regardless of how you feel about it. And of course it's very difficult to cultivate that. It's a very hard habit to make and reinforce, but it's definitely worth trying to figure out and how to learn how to do. It takes a long time. I still don't think I've fully cracked it, but it kind of comes from having a strong goal to aim for. I think my camera stopped then. Right, well, where was I? Yeah, about like just setting some kind of goal, or like breaking it down into mini goals is a really good way to help develop discipline. But next thing, like a sort of cool little trick or whatever you can use to help keep you encouraged, is to have like a wall planner, like one of those chart calendar things. I've got one, and essentially you just like mark out every time you do your training and every time you like don't do your training. So for me, because I do it every day, I'll like circle the day, that particular day, if I have done my morning training stuff. If I haven't done it, then I'll just like put a line through it, just cross it off, and that really helps me keep track of every time I'm doing it, and it helps me think, oh well, I've done it like these past 3 days, I only have to do it like 2 more times and I've done it like the whole working week or whatever. And you can set mini goals for that as well. You can like have a goal of just being consistent for 1 whole week, and then once you reach that you can expand it to 2 weeks and then like a month or so, and just kind of build from there, and it helps you keep track of what you're actually doing and what you're not doing and so on. So yeah, that's a really useful way of making sure you're actually it's like an accountability thing almost, I suppose. Another bit of advice I think, for especially when you're starting out on any kind of training plan or new thing or whatever, is to start small and simple and then build it up over time. It's like when I first started trying to do morning training stuff about a year and a half ago, I deliberately didn't do everything I was planning to do at once, because I thought it would probably be too much and I wouldn't be able to cope. So I started just doing running in the morning, just did that. Then after about a month or so of that. I'd do like the run, and then I'd walk around my garden to like sort of just cool down and stuff, and then I'd do some like pull-ups on this random bit of scaffolding. So I'd do that, and then after about a few weeks of that, then I added like the circuit training in after that, so I had the running, pull-ups, and then circuits. So that kind of works well, so you're not taking on too much at once and just overloading yourself. It's just better to, everything is a lot better and easier to do if you increment it properly. And the final thing I would say is to make it like a fixed time, like a fixed block thing, something that is part of the week or like that particular day. Say if you want to go gym, best time I'd say is probably like before or after work, depending on whether you're someone who likes to get up really early or not. I'm not. For me it's after work, and it's not an optional thing. It's not a case of like this forced thing, it just is part of that particular day. It's like going to work, it's the same thing. It's just after you finish work, go there first, then go home after. And if you're not as focused on like desperate to be at home or like to get away or run away from, I don't know, like work, if you're in that mindset of trying to like run away from work and get home as fast as possible, you probably want to like skip or shortchange your gym or just your gym routine or just going in general. So I'll just make things like blocks, like fixed time every single time. Say if you always want to do, say if you have free time at like 3 p.m. and that's when you want to do it, make it a fixed thing. So every single time it's always at that particular time every day or like every week. So I'd say that's about it, just a couple of different tips I've got from my own experience and what I've learnt and stuff. So yeah, I think that's about it for this week, so see you next time.